out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I'll hold where you know that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams. But somehow until I release, you come close to me when I release, and I let you take the lead when I release. My heart starts to see when I release, when I release. You say tree, step in my river, let it take you deep. Your heart is my temple, your tears rinse my feet. You walk out, you're able to carry my peace. It's an ancient sound heard from the ones who came before. It's all in your feelings. It's all how I receive your sound. All in your feelings. Your emotions, they find me out. It's all in your feelings. It's all how I receive your sound. All in your feelings. Your emotions, they find me out. When I let it go, when I let it go, when I let it go, I let it all go. Now I let it go, now I let it go, I let it go. Let it all go now. Oh.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. You are watching the Young Lions live here at True Sound
You
Studios.
couldn't run that back.
Check.
Right? That song had me in the zone, man. Yo, thank you to everybody who's tuned in already. Shout out to the Young Lions in the building. Jordan Damiani playing the guitar on that track all crazy. Tia Michelle says hello. Mom says hello. Juanita says hello. I miss you guys. We love you. Yo, let's just get into it, man. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Okay, here we go. We are back. John is trying to multitask right now, so
Yeah.
we appreciate you over there. Yeah, he's reaching. He's reaching over there.
Arms, man.
So I got to give him a drop real quick.
Hey, I just want to say I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on.
I just want to say Rachel's out here. The audio channel's over there.
But yeah, shout out to Emma tuning in, Lena tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share the video, let people know that we're streaming live. The algorithm doesn't like it unless people share it. And they suppress content like ours anyway because we talk about real stuff. And YouTube, Facebook, they're not really cool with that. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. We're streaming on Twitch also. If you're on Twitch, we're newly on Twitch right now, so we appreciate anybody who's tuning in there. And yeah, we got Moan with me here, rocking the Jatan 2020 shirt, man. The 20-year anniversary shirt that he designed himself. It's amazing.
Good job, man.
He did a good job there.
I guess.
So if you want to get merch, you can go to our website, jatan.com. Which has our new music on there and merch and stuff like that. And also, speaking of merch, holding it down on the other side of the table is my brother Stan Golden rocking the other Jatan shirt, the Back to Life lyric shirt. Boom. And if you can't tell,
like that one.
I like that one too. That's one of my favorites. If you can't tell, there's like the Jatan has actual lyrics from our songs spelling it out.
Yeah, you can't tell.
But you can, you can.
I have that shirt and I didn't even know.
You didn't know that?
No.
You never realized
I just
that?
noticed that.
Unless you have eagle eyes.
Yeah, I can get right in front of the camera,
Yeah.
like up on.
And if you can't tell, we got something in the background.
Oh, yeah. I was tired of seeing that door behind you all over there. So I was like, let me get a flag, a Young Lion flag. So, I mean, it's hanging up back there. You can't really see it, but it's just there for the ambiance. You know what I mean? To keep the Young Lion spirit. Yo, we can get them. We can get a bunch of them. And we're working on T-shirts for Young Lion. We're working on, a lot of different merch. I found a place where we can get stickers, like bumper stickers and stuff. Get them on laptops and stuff.
Nice.
Shout out to Paul.
Become the next Supreme.
Shout out to Paul Horner. Paul Horner sent us an email with a dope song that he wants us to jump on and be a part of. It's something that God inspired. So
Nice.
we're gonna listen to that together and see how we can collab. You know what I mean?
Cool.
He said he's collabing with Joy and Peace. So
Nice.
it's dope. And Paul is an avid Young Lion. You know what I mean? He's a supporter. He's a Patreon member. So we got to look out for the community and show each other love.
We got Ophir in the house.
Fair, what's up, brother?
We got Devin
Taylor. What's good, brother? What's good, man? Devin was our drummer, and he's a great videographer. Xavier, what's up? Again, make sure you guys share this video and hit the like button also. And again, if you want to support, if you like what the content that we talk about, the topics that we talk about, which is, real stuff that we're trying to bring to the people, when you see men talking about real issues, real content, especially stuff that's,
taboo sometimes.
It's taboo sometimes, but it's all grounded and rooted in our belief in Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? So
rooted and grounded in love.
In love, yeah.
Love for the people.
So if you think that, you know, these type of conversations and these type of topics are important, you can always support what we're doing, because the support literally goes right into us amping up what we do. The banner back there came from support, you know what I mean? The cameras, all the stuff that we're doing, the lighting, you know, the equipment, we're trying to upgrade everything and just get you guys more, better content constantly. So you can go to patreon.com/youngliontv, become a Patreon member there. We have a bunch of different tiers that you can sign up for. If you want to, you know, however you want to, if you want to just dip your toe in a little bit, you know, you can do that. If you want to be on the King line, the Lion King level, we have different levels. If you're on that Lion King level, you can join in there. And there's different perks. You know, we're going to be doing private Zoom chats with people. We're going to be doing consultations. We're going to be doing like group meetings. We're going to be doing stuff where you could get a word from Jake directly from the Patreon.
That sounds so weird.
Why is that weird?
Why is that
Just
weird?
because word from Jake.
I'm saying like someone can have a one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I just want to say, Paul Horner said, "Young Lion flag, claiming the territory."
that's right,
Yeah.
man. That's right.
Let
Yeah,
it fly.
yeah. It's all about like setting up, pushing into what we see God doing, and constantly advancing and like you said, claiming the territory, but grabbing new ground, like not just settling in. Well, this is what we do. How can we do it better?
Yep.
How can we constantly grow this thing and do it better?
Yep.
So
And it's about honor. You know, I think that's one thing that we lack in this society right now is what that even means.
yeah,
You know,
facts.
honoring people who are doing the things that we believe in. I mean, even in terms of how God works, it's all through honor. You know, it's all how we honor Him. You honor Him first. Fear of the Lord, all that stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
honor.
So shout out, I didn't finish the intros. We got Jake here. And of course, John doing all the production work by himself until Rachel shows up. So, first of all, how's everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend? How's everybody's week going? Like,
Good.
what's
Good.
been going on?
It's going good.
It's good.
You know? Nice weather.
I know, man. Today
So
was hot, man. Muggy. Yesterday was beautiful.
The pollen was high though.
Yeah, you seen it.
Yeah.
Like when the light shines, you
Yeah.
see all the pollen. Like I'm breathing that in.
Yeah.
You celebrated your wife's birthday,
Yes.
right?
Yep. That was good.
Tia had a question. She said, have y'all ever wanted to collab with John B and Babyface? That would be so awesome. Actually, one of our favorite songs from back in the day is a John B and Babyface song, right?
Thought I'd never love again.
Right,
Yeah,
right. Someone to love. It was on the Bad Boys soundtrack, their first Bad Boys.
Yeah,
That's how
right.
it was.
Wow.
Was it? Oh, no,
Yeah,
it was a
that's
good
where it's
song.
from.
Wow.
Jaden even remembers everything.
I knew it was from a soundtrack. I just
Yeah.
didn't know.
Which one?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But Babyface, man, Babyface is a legend.
Yeah.
Especially in the R&B game, you know. He pretty
Writing.
much ruled the 90s,
90s, yeah.
you know.
But I love that song.
Yeah, even the content of it. Like we actually talked about the revelation behind that song too, because
Yeah.
just the lyrical content of it. Like a lot of, and there's this thing, of course, with especially in the Christian community where it's like secular music is for secular, and Christian music is for Christians. You know, but there's a lot of times where you know you listen to a song and it'll hit you like from God, and when you think about the lyrics of that song, it's like tapping in like. It's tapping into a place of like
It's tapping in the truth.
yeah, like I never thought I could experience this type of love, but you showed me that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that's why that dude. I always show you.
Yeah, yeah.
He started in the Christian rap world, and then he ventured out of it because he didn't want to be categorized as a Christian rapper because
Right.
he's stuck. To
and
the
plus,
same people.
people don't understand that like in the Christian hip hop community, there's a lot of politics, a lot of it's still a business, you know. So I think a lot of people deal with that, and a lot of people get disillusioned with that. Switchfoot is another band; they were a Christian band, and then you know we opened up for them, but they still have those values. It's just that their music that they make isn't categorized as Christian because they're not like you know
Saying God is
Jesus loves me, this I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's the people can't make that connection. It's like either, well, we've had people say this to us before, like even when we were out selling CDs, you know, they'd be like, well, how many times do you say Jesus in it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you're not saying Jesus, then I don't want it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it don't, my ears are only for gospel music. So if you don't say Jesus in it, I don't want it. But lyrically of that song, what's the first? How's the verse first start?
Isn't that? I thought my life. Is that the second?
No.
verse?
That's the second verse. Don't even want to think about it. I don't know what I do without it. I only know I live and I breathe for your love. Yeah. You came to me in my time of need. When I needed you, you were there for me. Love from you is what got me through. It's because of you I was able to give my heart again. You gave me someone to love. You know what I mean? Like that's some real. That's kind of like "Darling." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the song we just put out, which you know we could drop that for the people at some point, but. That song,
I listened to that song all the time when I was younger because you guys had it on my iPod.
Yeah.
And then I got to listen to all that music. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, I probably would have never heard any of this stuff.
you know what's crazy is songs like that is what made us want to make music. I know for me and Jake specifically, like songs like that where it's like you connect to it because there's a deeper thing there.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just about. Later on, when you're a teenager, you know, you go to the club and you dance in the peaches and cream, and it's like that's hot too, but it's not the same as that. You know what I mean?
And you take those lines for some.
It's just so funny, like peaches and cream. Like
It's such a cheesy song. It's
I'm
a
just thinking
terrible
about
song.
how old we are.
Yeah,
in terms of-
right. Yeah, but think about like the staunch difference. Those are both R&B songs technically,
Yeah.
or the same from that same album. I see you looking at me. I can tell by the way that like it's so cheesy, but I think that has kind of like shaped our view of how music should connect with someone.
Yeah, and not only that, like,
feeling, yeah.
bro, we literally came to God through music,
True.
through doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
True.
You know I started writing songs that like
I remember when
I
you
didn't even
started
know.
writing songs.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
I would be sitting there because we slept on bunk beds, and Jake would be like, "Yo, look at this song I'm trying out. Just listen to it. He started playing the piano,
Yeah.
like a little bit, and then he started singing like "Find My Way."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
And what did you think at the time when he was writing it?
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
yo, he's right. I was at home. I was in the bunk bed
Yeah.
writing that
And
song.
Williamstown?
With like
In
the little
Williamstown,
Casio keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we went on the road and he played it, which was cool. Like when you
Yeah.
played it on that piano.
Yeah, that was Detroit.
Lena said it's raining right here, right now. I almost did it. Lena said it's raining right now in my town, but still beautiful though. Ariana said, hey, Ariana, what's up?
What up?
Share the video, please. Shalina said, 112 face palm. You know you like 112 back in the day. Stop
Why
it.
you lying?
You know what I'm saying? B2K. Ariana said, I agree. I love Who Am I?
Katrina also said the song that hits for me from you guys is "Who Am I." I love the whole Back to Life album.
Oh, sweet. That's what's up.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think
a good one.
I think the stuff we're doing now is like, it feels next level for me. Like it feels next level.
That last song, the intro.
Yeah, man. Like that one.
I want to ran back.
Run it back.
Or maybe you
Yeah,
can play it.
that song, the one that was playing, that just reminds me of my father. So every time when we were release,
Yeah.
right? When we were recording it, the whole time, bro, I was trying to be able to sing the song and hold back my tears.
When we were filming that?
When we were filming that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was.
Should have just let it go.
I didn't want to be on.
Let it all go now. Just let it go. But I remember rehearsing that. Even when we were writing the song in rehearsals, like multiple people busted out. One time Steve had to walk away.
Steve
'Cause
and Simone.
Yeah, and then they start hugging. Like it's like these emotional moments because the song hits you like.
Yeah.
So it's okay for men to hug, man.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. It's nothing wrong with that, man.
I think it was like a few months after I lost my father, and he just felt it too.
Yeah.
I think he saw me crying the whole time, and
Yeah.
he had to walk away.
And he was, if you remember, like he was going through something real rough at that time too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it all kind of just
It's healing,
yeah.
man. Music is healing.
It really is. It really is, man. So if y'all don't know, if you're not aware, we did drop a song recently. It's called "Darling." I think I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and it's a great song. Matter of fact, I was in the studio with Copes on Tuesday, and his brother Keith was like, "Yo, man, that song, you gotta send me that song, Darling, man. I can't stop listening to it." Like, he said, Jay was like, he's singing that song all the time, like just from watching us do it live. You know what I mean?
wow.
Nice. Tell them go buy it.
It's streaming. It ain't even, you don't buy music no more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Music is throwaway now. So different from back when we were selling CDs. Music is so different. All right, let me play this. So give a little backstory on this song, Jake, before we play it.
Backstory, how it came out, or
Just a little synopsis, a little quick snippet.
I mean, it started from you. You started it out. You came up with the hook, and from there, I didn't know where it was gonna go, and I just, a lot of times when I don't know where a song's gonna go, I'll just pray, and things just started to develop. So it started to come out from like Ezekiel 16. If you can read it if you want, and it's basically about like how we, it's taught in Ezekiel 16, it's talking about Jerusalem, but we as God's people can like take what he's given us and kind of turn our backs and use it, like be enticed by the world. It's kind of like Young Lion in a way.
Yeah.
Because Young Lion is the same thing. It's just a different look.
Right.
So we take the things that God cultivates in us, and then because of our naiveness, because of the stuff that's still in us, we go into the world and we try to, we whore ourselves out in a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
We prostitute ourselves.
Yeah.
But he's there waiting for us.
Yeah.
Like his love doesn't stop. And that's the power of that love, is that
We only fans ourselves.
what?
We only fans ourselves.
Selling out.
OnlyFans? You don't know what OnlyFans
app.
is? Oh, brother.
You don't
It's
want to
that
know.
app.
You don't want to know,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, the app where
Oh,
they get
okay.
paid to
All these young
show
19,
stuff.
20
It's
something
like
year old
Patreon.
girls.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
But it's for
for
other
something
things.
else.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're making money
I
off
remember
of,
you told me about
yeah,
that.
but it's like becoming a problem. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like young girls are just making $10,000 a month just, from doing OnlyFans, and and they think that this is going to be a viable future because it's quick money in the prime of their sexual marketplace value.
Right.
They don't realize that like that's going to go away fast. So it's just
Right.
it's a whole phenomenon that's happening now.
Yeah, and I think like we look at what we're talented at, or things that we might be a little good at, or even if we have beauty in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then because we get noticed,
Right, right.
we start to
We get attention.
go towards that. We start to focus on that. But that's not the purpose. There's a greater purpose, and that focus keeps us in a box. We don't even realize it, But then when it all comes crashing down, God is there with his love to raise us up into something greater, to something bigger.
Right. But no matter how far we go down that road, all he needs us to do is turn back.
Yeah, turn back.
And he'll
to
be
him.
waiting.
Yep.
All right,
That's
let's keep it.
that's one thing. I heard this today real quick. There's a word, Hebrew word, kadesh or kadosh, and it speaks about if Ophir is still on here, he knows how to say it. But it speaks about like it's where you get holy from. But a lot of people think it's like I gotta separate myself from the world.
Yeah.
When like I gotta separate myself, but it's really about I have to draw near to God. I gotta seek him out, and if you draw near to him, he'll draw near to you. And it's my heart. Like if I have an issue whatever my problems are, as a son, as a kid, I can turn to him and he's going to love me, you know? But even in terms of a relationship, like he's that overarching husband, and even husband is like a cultivator.
Right.
He's that overarching husband cultivator that's always that knows the answer, you know, knows how to like fix something, because we're caught up in our emotions that we can't see what's going on, you know, and he can shift it for us. So.
All right, cool. So let's drop it. Let's play the song.
Oh, darling, I've been waiting on your call. So, darling, don't you keep me waiting long. It could all be so simple. So why do you make it hard? For so long you've been pushing me away, leaving yourself a scar. You've made up yourself and put on a face that I no longer recognize. You give up yourself to promises made. Our fools, they leave you with nothing but lies. But I won't let you go that easy. No, I won't let you slip away. And I'll chase you until your heart is tame. No, it will not be in vain. Oh, darling, darling, I've been waiting on your call. I'll be waiting for you. Oh, darling, don't you keep me
Oh, yeah.
waiting long. Don't you keep me waiting long. Do you remember how I came and I found you? No one else would come. As they walked away, I built my walls around you, so you could recover from the damage that was done. Like a garden you grew, your flowers they bloom by the labors of my love. But you trusted in you when others pursued. Or you forgot where your beauty came from. But I won't let you go
So that's Darling. Just came out a couple weeks ago. So if you get a chance, add that to your playlist on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever, YouTube. It's everywhere. Just listen to that because it'll be good for your spirit. You know what I mean? There's some.
It was good for my spirit
right now.
I was into it.
Yeah. But yeah, so shout out to everybody who's still in the chat over here. Said yes, why not? Because anyway, we're working for money. Ariana said, I remember meeting y'all for the first time at Hamilton Mall with your long braids handing out CDs.
Me or Jake?
Yeah, those
Both.
two had braids.
I think I met Lena first.
That was
Pretty sure.
Ariana.
Oh wait, Ariana. Oh, that was
Hamilton Mall.
Hamilton Mall.
Emma said, I'm always starting my day with Elastic Heart.
Our version?
Yeah, our version, of course.
Nice. I like that version.
Yeah, that one came out dope, man. All right, so before we get into the social justice thing, I just want to go through some of the things, some of the stuff that's happening, some of the stuff I saw on Twitter, interesting things, get some takes on a little bit of stuff, and then we'll move on to that. But again, if you're watching right now, please hit the share button, hit the like button, drop a comment, just say hello, and also,
Before we do
hit
that,
the
though,
Patreon.
can I address something? Tia
Yes.
asked if it's that Simone on the cover. I think she's talking about the
Young Lion.
thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, tell that story.
Yes. So that is a picture of me in the refugee camp when we were...
In Thailand.
Yes, in Thailand. When we were about to get sponsored to come to United States, you take the little picture... with what was that, a chalkboard? And I had, it didn't say Young Lion on there. It said my name, Jang Sam Eun, with my number, my refugee number. And we took that picture and decided to make it the cover for Young Lion.
So crazy how the first name is last.
Right. Jang Sam Eun.
Isn't that an Asian thing, though? Don't they always do that?
I don't know. I know they do that in Cambodia.
They do that in China too.
In China,
Yeah.
they do that. So they honor the family name first, and then you next.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where that picture came from where I was born in Thailand, Psycho, Thailand.
Huh.
I think it's called.
Yeah, it's a lot there. So where you are now,
Right? It's amazing. God is good, man.
Yeah.
I got sponsored here by a Christian organization
Before you knew anything about
before I
Jesus.
knew anything about Jesus. So Jesus had my back
Yeah.
then.
Yep. Jesus knew. He said, you gonna sing in the group. Young boy, you going to be singing in the group.
You're going to sing for the ladies first, young boy, but then you're going to be singing for me.
Yeah. He said, don't worry about that, young boy. You're going to be singing for me. You're going to get sidetracked with these females for a little bit, but I still got you.
Silence.
They were the family that sponsored you out of Texas?
No, Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis.
Yeah, I think it was just outside of Memphis. We stayed with them for a year. And then my mother and father got enough money to move us to South Philly, where all the Cambodians are.
Right. Cool, man.
All right, so I want to play this real quick. And just get your guys... Oh, what happened? Let me see what happened to that. Oh, here we go. Get your guys' reaction to this. It's just something I came across on Twitter.
Oh, yes.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant. Fauci, yes? Promise us, please. We'll have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease. Dr. Fauci, don't forget me.
Well done.
No, definitely that was
Mortal Kombat.
that was the wrong.
I'd
drop
rather
for
talk
that.
about Mortal Kombat than that.
No, this needs to be the drop for that.
That was pathetic.
Yes.
What's that like? People are really rallying around this guy.
Dude, but
Well, I think it was like a
What was
diss
that?
to him.
no, it wasn't.
No, it was
No.
that wasn't a
This-
praise.
that was
That was a praise,
I took
bro.
it as a
No.
Because to you, there's no way in hell that could be a real thing. Like you thought this is a sarcastic.
Yeah,
You live in a different world
No.
than that, young man.
That was 100% beta male praising
Man.
the idea of Dr. Fauci, and the vaccines. He said, "Give us vaccines."
Yeah.
Like Fauci is a savior.
Yeah, dude. I just saw that, and and people on Twitter, of course, were like, "Yo, this can't be real life." You know what I mean? But so I had to present that to y'all. Did you see that already?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
Yo,
But
that
that's how
that was crazy to me.
you can't be serious right now.
You can't be serious right now. But no, they are serious because Joe Rogan got in trouble for.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Joe Rogan got in trouble for
Speaking his mind.
speaking his mind on his
You know that the
podcast.
average adult has 5 to 20 pounds.
Oh, we don't want to hear ads.
Using freedom of speech.
Toxic.
We hear ads about toxic poop. So, did you hear about this, Jake?
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about it. So,
But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, "Should I get vaccinated?" I go, "No."
Yeah.
Are you healthy? Are you a healthy person? Like, look, don't do anything stupid, but you should take care of yourself. You should, if you're a healthy person and you're exercising all the time and you're young and you're eating well, I don't think you need to worry about this.
Now, Rogan was careful not to say that all people shouldn't be vaccinated.
all right, let's go to Fauci's response to that. Ready?
Rogan. Okay, this guy's got tens of millions of downloads on his podcast. And while he said to his viewers, his listeners yesterday, I don't believe the vaccine is unsafe, he did say if I was going to talk to a young person, someone who's 20 or so and healthy, he doesn't see the need to get it. Now, you and I both know that you can't stop a pandemic until you get herd immunity and you stop this thing from being able to mutate and get out there. I just wonder, when folks like that do that, are they endangering the health of their listeners and the community?
Well, they certainly are making it more difficult to get to the common goal that we all want to get to, is a very, very clear suppression of this virus so we can get back to normal. The comment that I had...
I just want to point out that that goal has constantly been changing.
Yep.
From the beginning.
There is
it's
no back
always
to
this it's always this next thing. No, but we have to do this now. But we have to do this now. It's like the herd immunity thing. That I don't maybe I just don't get it, but how do you reach herd immunity with a vaccine?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, isn't herd immunity different?
Herd
Like,
immunity is supposed to be like once everybody has gotten it enough where the antibodies exist enough where it's not
Right.
It's not a
where
a problem.
other countries didn't lock down, they just let the virus do its thing.
Yeah.
And people get it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
maybe I'm missing something, but
We need
it's
an
just weird.
expert.
Like if herd immunity is what is the goal here, like how does the vaccine help with that?
I don't get it because I thought it was herd immunity was a natural thing.
I
that
mean,
you get the virus. And then,
I'm gonna look it up.
Stop trying to make everybody do. Stop trying to shame us into getting the vaccine.
right. And he said nothing wrong.
Yeah.
The thing that really stuck out to me was get back to normal. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the normal thing, sometimes when things happen, you don't want to just go back to normal, that statement, because
there is no going back to normal.
Well, what I'm saying is that you're gonna do anything you can to get back there,
Right.
And a lot of them decisions probably ain't the best decisions
Right.
you're gonna make,
Right.
because you just want to get back to normal,
Right.
And
like putting old people back in the nursing homes.
yeah, it's like an inconvenience. Like, oh, this is inconveniencing me.
My bad. Paul commented on the dude singing, said so much soul. Don't forget
Yeah, I think
me.
I think he already said that.
Oh, okay.
Before. Yeah.
Oh, he was talking about Darling? Okay. Nah, I thought he was being sarcastic to that dude. Because that dude was the opposite of soul.
Oh.
Forget me.
Be nice.
He was. I'm just speaking about his singing abilities. Facts.
Yeah.
But no, the normal thing. Like,
Okay, so wait, I looked up the definition of herd immunity, and
Okay.
it says it occurs when a large portion of the community, the herd, becomes immune to a disease. Now that I understand, that's in the name, but
Right.
like
It's
the
a natural thing,
right?
though.
Yeah.
But not only that, it's like if you have a vaccine that makes you immune to the disease, then I understand why everyone needs to get the vaccine for herd immunity. But when you have a vaccine like the ones that they're touting now, maybe we shouldn't even be saying the word because YouTube is like, you know what I'm saying? and Facebook.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, like what they're saying, the CDC guidelines, all of that is saying, not me saying, this is what they're saying, is that if you get the vaccine, you still are able to contract the disease and able to spread it.
Just read it, yeah.
So how is
So
herd
you're not
immunity
immune.
mixed in there? How does that even factor in?
Fauci.
That's where they're losing me.
Answer us, Fauci.
That's where they're losing me. I don't know, man.
They're changing the language.
I don't know.
So.
I mean, I think what you did with the other guy is you showed how if anybody's like him, they're putting their trust in a Fauci.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, let's put our trust in the experts that aren't really experts. Yeah. Experts. Right.
Jordan said, I need the vaccine to protect me from that song.
Yeah, I actually got a phone call today from my my father-in-law, and I thought that he had an issue with us not getting the vaccine, but really he just wanted to understand where I was coming from. So I had a brief conversation where my head is with the whole vaccine thing, and he was like, "Oh, okay, you're not alone because there's a lot of people that feel the same way."
Yeah, and I think what Joe Rogan was speaking to is the fact that if you're young and healthy,
Right.
like if you're young and compromised, then he's saying, like he even started out saying, like, I believe you should get the vaccine. I believe the vaccine is safe.
Yeah.
But if it's a 21-year-old comes to me and says, should I get it? If you're healthy, like, what's the point of that?
You're working out like crazy all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what I told. Pops. I was like, I've been taking my vitamins.
Yeah.
We stay pretty healthy. We try to eat like during the week. We eat healthy. We have Fat Friday.
Yeah.
But other than that,
But for the compromise, like y'all know what my father-in-law is dealing with right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it does affect, like this thing can really affect the compromised people. But it's like, why would you? But the idea of trying to force it on everyone is weird to me. Even Xanthia said something about it being a red flag. Yeah, whole world has to be given this injection, red flag. You know what I mean?
And she said it's not a vaccine, it's an injection.
Yeah.
Up top.
Right. Unless you're a celebrity, then they use those pretend
Vitamin B shots.
No, the retractable needles.
yeah.
They're using those. Everyone's
crazy.
calling them out for this. Like,
But no, there are needles that once you use them, they retract.
no, but the ones that
the
ones that they've been using for like
the
most of the
Mariah
PR
Carey.
stuff, definitely Mariah Carey is like, it's so obvious.
Because she doesn't want to get a needle on camera.
Maybe, like, I don't know, but it's just, it's clear that they're using celebrities, and they've been.
Jake's trying to give them grace, yo. He's trying to be hopeful that
I
they're
mean,
not going to
I'm just
manipulate us.
I'm not going the conspiracy route because, like, then you just
I know.
Right,
going into realms where you don't really know.
People
Right.
will dismiss everything you say after that. But what I'm saying is they've been honest about the fact that they need to use black celebrities to convince black people to get the vaccine. They've been open about this.
Right.
We need more black celebrities to do a PR stunt with getting the injection.
Which just, man, that shows you how
We're followers.
How gullible.
Yeah, we're followers.
Well, at least how gullible they think we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see that all the time. Like we talked about the
What?
During the campaign, the stripper.
The
the stripper ad.
That was we showed it on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
That was insulting if you're black.
Yeah.
If they used strippers to try to sell you to vote for Joe Biden.
Oh yeah.
Right. That was insulting. And then it's like Joe Biden does an interview with Cardi B. It's like all of this like low base, like
Low hanging fruit.
you know what I'm saying? Like Lena said, well, because it's not really a vaccine because it isn't made to protect anyone from getting sick. It was made to change our genetic makeup and rearrange our DNA. That's what people
We didn't say it.
That's what some people are saying. You know, I'm not gonna make that claim because they will flag this. But some people are saying that. Not me. I'm not saying that.
Not the Young Lions.
I don't know what it's doing, but it's just some things are weird about it. Okay, what else was I going to show y'all? What else was I going to show you?
I just think another weird thing. Didn't we talk about it?
What?
The Johnson & Johnson shot? How 6.8 million people got the Johnson & Johnson shot, but they stopped it because 6 women.
I talked about this too. I forget. I think me and James were talking about this. Yeah, like they were adamant about, but that one is not an mRNA vaccine.
No,
right?
it's the natural, or
right.
it has the real
It
virus.
has the virus in it.
So
and
they
that normally takes.
They
years
literally
to develop.
pulled that one because 6 people developed
Out of 6.8 million. Though.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
But the Pfizer and Moderna shots have had multiple bad reactions as well.
Yeah.
But there's nothing. Yeah. It's weird, man.
Weird.
What's up, Rach?
She almost gave me a heart attack.
He's a ninja.
She snuck in there.
Yeah. Okay, so now let me show you this from Yahoo News. Just to show you like what we're dealing with as far as like nobody knows what they're talking about. We're all over the place with things. Just pull this up, John, and show staying 6 feet apart indoors this is not me saying it for the algorithm. I'm reading Yahoo News right now. Staying 6 feet apart indoors does almost nothing to stop the spread of COVID-19. MIT study finds. Okay, this is MIT saying this. You know, and then
3 feet's a lie too.
When you look at for kids, yeah. But it's just like the information is all over the place
From MIT.
Yeah,
I should qualify.
Yeah. But this is why people are like, we don't know what to make of this because it's like y'all keep changing stuff. Mm-hmm. Even Fauci himself.
I was just going to say it. Even Fauci.
Since the beginning.
He's
if
all
it
over
makes
the
you
place.
feel better,
don't wear a mask.
Don't wear a mask.
You don't need to wear a
stopping
mask.
the virus.
Yeah, who was he? Was it Jake Tapper that was interviewing him at that time?
Yeah.
Because they get the schmutz on it. They get the schmutz. You touch it, you get the schmutz on it, and you the mask is not any good anymore. It's like
then people started using that against them. Like, I
Yeah.
need to change.
yeah.
Then wear a mask. Then wear 2 masks.
And get the vaccine, and then you're gonna stay at to wear a mask.
Tia said it was because blood clot. Yeah, we mentioned that 6 people got blood clots.
Well, you didn't actually say it.
Charlene Lena said I watched the special on it today. It's true. Trust me. Listen, I'm just saying I'm not making that claim because Facebook will penalize us and YouTube.
You're actually doing research.
Yes. Xanthia said Jesus is my doctor, and he writes out all of my prescriptions. He gives me all of my medicine.
Amen.
Tabitha Brown. You know, they canceled that other lady for saying stuff like that. Who was the lady? The African lady?
Oh, yeah.
They
the
canceled
doctor?
her, boy. Woo! Yeah. Because she was coming out there to talk about Jesus. And
Practicing doctor.
yeah.
Made her look crazy.
Okay, so real quick. We talked about Justin Bieber's album. You know, just want to do a quick talk about this. On CNN, I saw an article about Justin Bieber.
That's Bieber?
Bieber is getting accused of cultural appropriation because of his hairstyle. What do we have to say about this, fellas?
What isn't cultural
That just-
appropriation nowadays?
I have nothing to say about it because it's not anything I care about.
But what does it speak to?
Can
to you?
I can't say anything because I wore braids.
You sure did.
What does it speak
Why
to?
can't you
to
say
me?
anything?
Yeah.
Dude, I could care less. I don't know. Y'all talk about it, and I'll see where y'all land.
Okay, what I'm gonna say is that I think that there is there is a culture of trying to find any reason to complain about somebody now, especially celebrities.
Yes.
And then especially for someone like Justin Bieber, who is now talking about openly about loving Jesus and being a Christian.
It's making him more.
He
under
has
the
to be a
microscope.
target. Yeah,
he's
a
now
target
he's more
now.
of a target.
You know.
Okay, get that. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
What's your thoughts? What's your
What were you
thoughts?
going to say about the braids? Because you wore braids.
But he didn't wear dreads, yo. Dreads is different than braids.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't care. He could do whatever he wants. Like, but yeah, what you're saying is people definitely do that. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Cancel culture. You know, we talked about it last week when we were talking about hip hop.
Right.
You know, and how that has shifted 20 years later into cancel culture. So,
Paul said we got to get a ding button for these comments. How about that's a Mario coin right there. How about that? We like that. He said Florida just passed a bill banning vaccine passports. Yeah, I mean, yo, DeSantis,
yo.
He's killing it down there, man.
Yeah.
there's Texas, Florida. Like, we need more states like that. Come on, Jersey.
So you think they're coming at him? Like, to be honest, my how many years did I wear braids? 10 years? A decade? I didn't get no negative. And you think it was because,
but I think
because
that
I'm
was
not white?
that was before critical race theory and all of this stuff existed.
Yeah.
That was before this whole cultural appropriation thing was like we're at its peak where it is now. You know what I mean? Like,
because it was
yeah, but then there were still people that were like, you know,
there were, but they weren't. They didn't really have the ear of the masses.
it wasn't in that way either.
Yeah, like
Like,
dude,
it's different.
Puerto Ricans, Asians could say the N-word back then.
yeah,
Now you can't.
yeah.
You know, you're getting canceled for that. Like, it was a different time.
Right.
And even though it wasn't that long ago, it's like,
And it was divisive, but in a different way.
yeah.
Now it's divisive in a cultural appropriation way. Like,
Right.
it's a cancel. It's the culture of you're criticizing everybody.
Yeah.
What are you doing? How are you? You know, and it's shaming by way of, well, I have the right because I'm an expert. Again, there goes the expert
Yeah.
thing. I have a degree in
I'm
some
studied in this.
in some
yeah.
bull. Like,
Right,
total founded in what?
Right.
Some crap.
Right. Some paper someone wrote in the
Yeah.
80s. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That has no no citations.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later. But yeah, so that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's a valid thing to address, you know. And you make a valid point. Like, when you were wearing braids, how many times? And who did we talk to?
Black girls.
97.5% of the time was young black girls
Yep.
and older black women. Have any of them ever criticized you for wearing braids?
No, they loved it.
We never got one email, one message on you know, it was MySpace back then. We never got one message. When we were on MTV, you had braids.
Yeah.
No.
We both had braids.
Right, both of y'all. No
You
comments
keeping
about
me out of it.
I forgot. But you're half black, so you know you
Nah,
get
but he looks.
Yeah.
But I'm half
Spanish.
black, but it's like, you got to ask me that. Like,
Yeah.
what are you? You know what I mean? Like,
But you could lean back on that and be like, nah, my dad's black.
yeah.
I can't lean on anything.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I got darker skin than you.
You could be like, my grandfather's black. Well, how would they know?
They wouldn't.
You know what
Which
I'm
is
saying?
funny. Jamie's half black, but you're way darker than him. That's why it's like, yo, what are we talking
What
about?
are we
It
talking
don't matter.
about? Yeah.
It don't matter.
Because it's about connection to you know, ethnicity and heritage. I was watching Umar Johnson on The Breakfast Club yesterday, and man, you gotta go watch that interview just to see the depths of, like,
What, is it new?
yeah, just
Oh, okay.
just
All right.
just yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Because I've watched that brother before.
Oh, of course. And he's from Philly, right?
Yeah. I
Ooh,
think
that's
so.
the old school joint right there in the hallway, boy. Look at Jake and Moon with the braids. Look, everyone in the chat right now knows us from this moment. This is when we were selling CDs. But yeah, that is
This is what we were trying to because
that's one of our. That's actually one of our flyers we used to pass out.
yeah.
I still have that flyer.
Huh?
I still have that flyer.
Really?
Yeah.
What is up with that your time?
Jordan said surfer's been wearing dreads forever.
You know. You know.
You know what I equate that to? White dudes that smoke weed.
Yeah.
That's what I equate it
Right,
to.
like bohemian type dudes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but for some reason now it's been considered wrong, you know. But I think when you're constantly looking for where's the oppression,
Yeah,
you
but
know
that's
what I mean?
that's where it's not good enough to just be racist. You got to be anti-racist. So
yeah.
now, what are you doing? You feel like you got a badge to go around
Yeah.
looking at. No, can't do that.
Right.
Too short.
Right.
Black
Right.
people do that.
Right.
Can't
Yeah.
do that. You know what I mean? Like,
And people
you're-
feel powerful in that.
You're policing people.
And the people with the most intersectional points, they feel the most powerful.
Right.
Because it's like, you have to listen to me first.
And so,
You know
if
what
you
I
look
mean?
at it,
'Cause I'm
what is?
qualified. Yeah.
It's literally about deconstructing, like the deconstructing of your faith.
Yeah.
It's deconstructing, so that how can I take away your confidence, your security, and give myself security, give myself confidence in this culture, and I think that's what's been when you look at homosexuality, transgender, even race, like how can I get security in a man-made way, intellectually man-made way, to re-secure myself instead of trusting in the one who gives us true security.
Yeah.
Which we know who that is, Jesus.
All right, pull this up, John. I want to show this tweet. I just thought this was funny, and I want to see if you guys can spot what's wrong with this tweet.
Shout
Now,
out to Naomi.
What's up, Naomi? This is the great Chuck Schumer.
Okay.
Great career politician.
Right.
Corrupt. He's up there with Mitch McConnell and the rest of them. This is his tweet. I just want to see if you guys can spot. When I saw this, and I was like, "Huh."
Why is he so close to the screen?
Not only that, not only like the weirdness of this and who took this picture. There's a lot of things wrong with this, but in the text of the tweet, read the tweet.
Ice cold plant-based beer.
Thanks, Joe Biden.
Plant-based beer. Isn't beer made from wheat or whatever?
Is there a
it
beer
still
that's not plant-based?
Is there meat?
Wheat, hops?
Maybe milk
it's that
stouts. Milk
fake
stouts
beer that
have
they be
the
making.
No, milk stouts come from barley. They mix milk in it, but
but then when they mix the milk in it,
and a lot of times those milk stouts are oat milk, and it's from
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, all beers are plant based.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
But he got roasted in the comments, of course, and got ratioed the crap because it was everybody was like,
it's always my favorite. Just going in the
Because
comments.
everybody's critical.
yeah, everybody's critical, of course, on Twitter. But it's like because it's also like he's tweeting that to virtue signal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought it was a satire.
You think everything's a satire. Okay. I wanted to post something that Bill Maher talked about on his show this week. Now, I'm not a fan of Bill Maher.
Bro, are we going to get to this stuff?
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
you got a lot going on, man. It's 9:30.
We started a little late.
Oh yeah.
This is a quick little rant from Bill Maher.
People touch old people's feet to show reverence.
Oh,
He's talking about how in other cultures they honor old people. Okay.
In India, young people touch old people's feet to show reverence. Japan has a national holiday called Keronohi, Respect for the Aged Day. You know the reason why advertisers in this country love the 18 to 34 demographic? Because it's the most gullible. Yeah. A third of people under 35 say they're in favor of abolishing the police, not defunding, but doing away with a police force altogether, which is less of a policy position and more of a leg tattoo. 36% of millennials think it might be a good idea to try communism.
That joke was weak.
But much of the world did try it.
Yeah.
I know millennials think that doesn't count because they weren't alive when it happened. But it did happen. And there are people around who remember it. Pining for communism is like pining for Betamax or MySpace.
Hey, MySpace was
So
dope.
when you say you're old, you don't get it. Get what? Abolish the police and the border patrol and capitalism and cancel Lincoln?
Now we talking
I
about Border
get it.
Patrol? What is going on?
Yo, ain't it crazy? This is why I wanted to play this. Like, we don't got to play the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like you're seeing the turn now. Where
Yeah.
it's like,
Yep.
it's like,
Wait. This is going too far.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. And
Respect your elders.
right. And he started there because a lot of the rhetoric from like these young millennials and the like the protesters and these advocates that are out there is like old people don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
But that has been instituted or implanted by education.
Yeah.
People in education, in the schools, in the colleges, because they're catering to
Right.
these kids. You
And
know?
they're taught that you've been doing everything wrong.
Yeah, and not just that, even in households, like parents aren't disciplining kids on a mass scale the way we used to.
Yeah, definitely.
The way we grew up, you don't
Yeah.
hear about getting your butt whooped.
You don't spank kids anymore.
Yeah.
You don't hear about stories about punching your face in and making you choke on your own blood.
Yeah, my mom was a little.
That was like her line.
Those were just threats, though.
Yeah,
she never did that.
Let's make that clear.
That was
her number one line.
Yeah, that was just.
But
a
she
threat.
would say those things.
She wouldn't say choke on your own blood. I will cut it off.
That was Junior.
That was
Yeah.
Junior.
That was Junior embellishing stuff.
elevating it to hyperbole. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But she did definitely say, "I will knock your teeth down your throat."
Yeah.
Well, that was her favorite line. Shout out to Jordan. He said, "But like you were saying earlier, the church culture in America was out there canceling people for years before the left picked it up. That's very true. Very,
part of
very
the
true.
problem.
That is part of the problem. That is part of the problem." Xanthia said, "Kids are raising themselves today. Kids are doing more than raising themselves. They're running the household.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they are controlling everything that's going on. But that's why we're fighting against that. That's why we have the Young Lion podcast. That's why we are trying to build.
Mom just laughed.
That's why we're trying to build cultivate a different culture.
Yeah.
That builds a different community, that raises a different standard, that then affects a different generation of children, that then will become the leaders, that then change the entire system."
I think our generation, like what we kind of have been, I'm trying to think of the right word. What we've been seduced by
That's a perfect word.
is the new thing, like the new iPhone. But even back when we were kids, this new thing.
Yeah.
Always
Because-
the shiny new thing.
Because they
By the
realized
line of her ways.
they realized they had to sell you, like, you can't buy something over again.
Yeah.
So they had to always come out with a new version to keep you buying something.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And commercials were big on that. And we are definitely the generation that grew up in that the most. Where it's
Yeah.
like the new thing is always in front of you. You watch commercials. Remember Saturday morning cartoons and the new Ninja Turtle. It would be the same Johns. They just like added a new sword or like they added a new like background. And you're like, oh, I need that. I want that.
Yeah. And because it's new, it seems like it's strange.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's new, it's a little foreign, and foreign cars. And I think it connects to like Jezebel, narcissism.
Right.
Yeah.
Because something I was reading today, like Revelations 2, it talks about how you tolerate the prophetess Jezebel, right? And like you tolerate a prophetess is really not a prophetess. What does a prophetess do? It gets you to focus on things that you shouldn't be focusing on. And when you think about Jezebel is something new. It's a strange thing. She was a stranger.
A foreigner.
Right?
Yeah.
And go back to Kings.
Yeah.
She's a foreigner in a for her a new land, but she doesn't care about that new. She wants to take what she has and make it new for them. Right. So what I'm trying to get at is that, like, especially with us, like, Christianity is not new.
Mm-hmm.
It's old, right? In terms of how we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Jaded with Christianity. Like Jordan was saying, Christians was canceling. They were the cancel culture.
They were the cancel culture.
You know, criticizing everything. And it's still there.
Censoring everything.
Right. But then it turned into, no, we got to love everybody.
Yeah.
Because, see, that's the toleration.
That's the pendulum swinging the other way. Yeah.
So then you get, that's the new, right? And that's how, like, you get all these people, oh, let's do yoga. Let's, you know, let's do Hinduism. All this new Eastern mysticism. Like, all these different energy things and chakras
spirituality.
I'm not
religious.
I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. You know, all these things because it's new. And people want fresh, people want new, but the problem is you want to go somewhere else to get it when you could get it right there. Like, most people crack me up because they don't even read the Bible, but then they don't know what's in there, and then they're trying to
and that's the
go
thing.
to something new.
If you're constantly spending that time and tapping in and cultivating that relationship with God, and you're reading the Bible, you're always finding something new.
Right.
There's always new things to grab onto. There's always new things to experience. There's always new understanding, new revelation. But when you're not thinking of that, any shiny new object that grabs your attention, it becomes the thing that you move towards.
So that's my point.
Yeah.
What you're saying, because that's the prophetic, right? The prophetic is literally to focus you on the new.
Right.
And the new is the new revelation. And there is a new revelation because you should be seeing what that word says in a new way. And you get that through coming to God, right? And somebody who, it says the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So I've seen Jesus in a new way. The word made flesh, creation, right? I'm tapping into a creative thing, right? A new thing, a creative thing. So that's why, but for so long, there's been other things going into that creative realm, right? Through prophecy, or like I'm saying, what's her name? Jezebel, right? A prophetess, but they're coming from a place that's nasty, vile, but it's new. So people are like, oh no, but they're doing something new. They're doing something. They on some other stuff. You know what I mean? When it's really not, it's just different because you don't know about it. But it's not really new. It's just some repackaged stuff, like you were just saying. You literally just said, they just repackaged something, and
ain't that what they? They still do that to this day,
right?
Where it's like they repackage something, even with like the iPhones. People will complain that like the new iPhone that came out is literally the old one with a new camera,
right?
And then they'll still buy it. You know what I'm saying? It's like gotta have it though,
right?
You know,
right? And it's because it's new, right? But really, so that's kind of a desire in ourselves that it's kind of like a deep desire. We want new, we want fresh, but it's about how we're getting it. We don't want a strange new thing, right? Because now what we're doing, and you look at Jezebel, she's coming into, you're tolerating something that's going to destroy your culture, right? Destroy your culture. You tolerate Jezebel, and you got to be tolerant.
And sometimes you're even seduced by it. You know what I mean? Like you're seduced by the thing that's going to destroy you.
Right, because it seems good,
enticing. Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems reasonable. It seems sensible. Let me do this thing because it seems like it can solve my problem. But the problem was there because of something else I did that I shouldn't have did. Right. Something else I agreed with that I shouldn't have agreed with. So now I got to agree with this woman. You know, I got to marry this woman. Like, and you even think about that, like an agreement, a marriage. You're coming together with something, right? So that I can solve my issue. Right, your marriage, you're marrying something else that you didn't think of before. Now it's coming into your spectrum or everybody's looking somewhere else.
Because this dude just got a phone call and ran away.
So think about it. We bring, when we agree with something that we're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. We bring it into our world. We bring it into the place we live.
Dwelling place, yeah.
Right? So it's like Israel, they brought Jezebel into their nation.
Right.
And now she's trying to take over because she's got no respect, no honor for what they do.
I don't know why I'm seeing Gremlins, yo. 'Cause
They have no honor.
You remember the story of Gremlins? It's like he sees this thing, and what does he immediately want to do? He wants to take it home.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he doesn't
'Cause it's
understand
new.
it. It's new.
Yeah.
It's something different, but he doesn't understand it. So he, handles it wrong, and then it totally destroys the whole home. It destroys the whole house.
Are we talking about the Democratic Party? Sounds familiar.
I think we talk about politicians, period.
I think we're talking about how
Most
our culture has
things.
shifted.
Yeah.
And
know?
that's the spell behind. I think like what people don't understand is that there are very, very smart people that understand how we make those compromises and how we think like that, and they know how to they know how to get us to react in those ways.
Yep.
They have the science behind it. You know what I mean?
And I think that's the mystery behind
that's the spell
behind Jezebel. It's like a push.
You're a wizard.
That's the spell.
Yeah,
that's the spell.
It's a push to like push you into doing something.
Right. Yeah, the nudge.
So you don't agree with that? Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
You're not going to take the vaccine?
Yeah.
Now your question.
Right.
And
that's all the PR stunts with all the celebrities. That's we got to get black celebrities to do this. That's the, if
Run
you don't.
DMC song.
Yeah. That's the people were making fun of, there was a Zoom call with all of the world leaders and Joe Biden's on there with a mask
The only one with the mask
on a Zoom call.
On a Zoom call.
And everyone's like, it's just because it's propaganda. It's like he has to, if he's seen without a mask, it takes away the whole
even the
spell.
address yesterday, the speech that he gave to Congress, there was a feed beforehand.
Right.
All of the senators, Congress, whoever was there, kissing, no
hugging.
mask,
I saw it. They were like all touching each other. But as soon as the cameras
lights
come
go
on, everyone's masked up. It's because it's all for show. It's just like the journalists that would be at the press briefings where you see like a bunch of them got caught. As soon as the press briefing's over, they think the cameras are off and they take their mask right off. Because it's all about the show. It's about we have to show this because then people think that this is reality. We have to show this.
But it's just the same like in a church, like wear your Sunday best.
Yes.
Like what's it? A sinner on every day of the week.
Yeah.
Saint on Sunday.
Saint on Sunday, sinner. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
and it's like as soon as I'm in front of church folk, I gotta play the role. I gotta I gotta play the role. You know what I mean?
and everybody's playing that role.
Right.
Well, not everybody, but there's a lot of people playing that role.
I think that was a Lion King.
But so what you do is you're lying.
Right.
That's why I like don't lie.
Right.
Don't lie.
Right.
Be genuine. Right. Everybody's hypocritical. We're learning how to not be.
Yeah.
Right. But I think like that's the key. It's the tolerance. Jezebel don't care. Jezebel wants to take over your territory. Jezebel wants to take. And when we're like, oh, like you look at, namaste, all this stuff. That we want that. Not Christian, but yeah, some Christians too.
Yeah.
But just America, wants to take on. Like, just give. That's tolerance. That's love. And then we let in all these things, right? But we don't know what we're doing.
Love. Not real.
It's not true love, right? It's not the love of Christ that passes all knowledge. Because that kind of love is like, nope, can't let you do that. That's kind of, and it seems like hold up, like, but it's actually that's true because I got to keep these boundaries, right? You can come in. But you got to leave that over there. You got to leave that over there where you're from, like where Jezebel was from, the Canaan or Sidonia or Tyre or whatever. You got to leave that over there. You know what I mean? But when you come into Israel, you have to be this way.
Right.
Right. And you think about that, like when presidents or people are traveling to other countries, they honor their cultures,
They have
right?
to know the customs.
Right. They have to
learn
know the
rituals.
customs.
Yeah.
But even in terms of like, like he just kind of said a little bit with the elderly, like you look to them, you honor them, but then you gotta, okay, why are we doing these things?
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing these things? I want to know your heart in why you do this. You know what I mean? Because that's different. Like, if I'm just doing a protocol to do it, then, oh, okay, I'm good in your sight. That's different. But when you want to know why, now it's a relationship. Tell me why you do these things. And we don't realize what we have.
Yeah.
That's a spoiled kid.
Yep.
We have a bunch of spoiled kids in this country.
Yeah, 100%.
We don't realize what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you don't realize what do you got, what do? You complain about everything you don't have.
Yep.
You want to tear it down.
Yeah. You pick apart everything you don't have and you scream and cry for that.
Yep.
Until you get your way.
And
And
then you're like, oh no.
Lena said, or people teaching kids these days are getting the curriculum from the state, which is run by old people, right? Who were there to see it all. So know how it didn't work. However, these old people that are in power want to bring it back from a different reason. So now it's all about indoctrination, really, if that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. I think it's more about the old people that you're speaking of have they have achieved a certain sense of power that they don't want to relinquish. They want to hold on to that power.
Like you just showed, Joe Biden, but also what's his name?
Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
These people will do anything to hold on to their power. They'll do anything, and even if it means selling out everyone, they don't care.
Right. But even like, you know what? There's people that might be compromised, but they might be 10% uncompromised. You can honor that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because people want to look at people and think like, oh, they're gone.
Right.
But they're not.
They're irredeemable.
Yeah, but that's not true. Like there's can you see it? If you can see it, you can speak to it. You can honor it.
Yeah.
Honor your mother and your father. Well, my father is this, and this. But is there anything there that you can look at and honor him in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are we looking at? Because we can look at all the flaws again.
Right.
And say, they did this, they did that. Just like we can look at how black people were enslaved. We can look at how, all these things happened, but there was some good stuff that happened. They were trying to abolish slavery back when they first started. There was stuff that was happening, but we can't if we're just focused on the thing that wants to give us identity. Again, it's like that kid playing soccer. He's just focused on what's going to give me identity.
Right.
If I score this goal, it's going to give me identity. I'm going to feel good about myself.
I'm going to be the star.
Right.
Xanthia said, true prophets tell the truth. Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have to. They tell what God shows them. It's funny, I saw something earlier where they were talking about, Jordan Peterson was on Andrew Schultz's podcast, and he was talking about his book, and one of the chapters is like something about one of the best adventures in life is to tell the truth all the time. And they were like digging into that a little bit, and I'm thinking like, why is this a novel concept nowadays?
Yeah.
Because we've been so seduced into like caring about how people see us and caring about how we affect them that we don't tell the truth anymore.
Yeah.
People can't, just that simple fact of like, don't lie. People can't do that. What happened?
I was just wondering why
he's not switching cameras.
Yeah.
It's the stream went down on my end.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's lagging like hard. There it goes. I tried switching cameras. How I noticed I switched cameras, it didn't switch.
Oh, you're talking about Wirecast?
Yeah, Wirecast, and it turned red, and then my CPU's at 90 right now.
Damn, what?
Wow.
Yeah,
it is.
Something's acting up on Wirecast. I had Rachel pull it up to make sure it was still working.
Is it still live?
Still live.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So they were talking about his book and about that, like, because he was saying it's harder to be honest with people. It's harder to tell the truth or to explore truths. Like, the way we've been, if you look at the dynamic of a relationship where it's like okay, the things that you've been doing recently have been annoying me. So is that something that is because of me, or is that something because of you? Like, let's talk about this. You know what I mean? People can't do that. You know what I mean? People can't do that simple thing where it's like we love each other enough and we honor each other enough to have a real conversation. You know, we've been lulled into this idea of like, it's easier to just lie about stuff. You know what I mean? Not be honest, because it makes things, you can coast. Your wife tells you like, does this make me look fat? What's everyone going to say? You know what I mean?
No, dear.
Because it's like, you don't want to have that battle. You know what I mean? But that conversation about, yeah, you could lose a few pounds. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's harder to do that, you know? So...
That's what I feel like.
Yeah. But so now it's like, you know, that's an adventure. You know what I mean? To be honest.
An adventure. Yeah. I mean, I guess it is because it's new.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's new.
But if you think about it, like, what is an adventure? An adventure is going into something that you don't do normally.
Yeah.
Right? It's going into a territory.
Uncharted territories.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're going into a place that it should be your place.
Right.
But you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You know
You've never been there.
It's crazy.
Have no footing there. Lena said, yep, it's lagging for sure. Okay, that's not good. I don't know why that's happening.
So no good.
They're trying to take God's place because they know so much better, Xanthia says. Tia says, money, power, respect for eating right. Money, power, respect. The key to life.
Money, power, respect.
was for eating right one of the lyrics? That doesn't make sense. I don't think that was one of the lyrics.
I don't remember that. That's what I read. I read it.
I thought it was eating right.
Money, power, respect for eating right.
Treat you right.
Money, power, respect. But it's just that was just funny because
you eating right, yo.
Yo, you eating right.
No, that makes sense though. And the aspect of rap, money, eating right. But I don't know if that's what it was.
Okay, so let's get into the topic of the evening. We want to talk about. I know we've been on some stuff, so we're gonna get through this quickly.
It's money, power, respect. You'll be eating right.
You'll be eating right.
There you go.
That's still whack. I can't believe that was the lyrics.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of throttling right now. So
really
jumping to 99%. 80.
Why do you think that's
90%.
happening?
I don't know. Nothing else is open but Wirecast and ATEM.
Apple know that new laptop is coming out. They want you.
And I'm getting.
They heard you talking about getting that new laptop. They're like, we're gonna throttle you, bro. Okay, so this is a pastor that was talking about social justice and the dynamic with Christians and how Christians deal with the term social justice and how social justice is a term that has been kind of hijacked and
turned into something else
and attached to a lot of other things that people aren't aware of because it's kind of used as the vehicle to push these other agendas, but in the front of that is something that everyone hates, which is the moving force of that is race relations and racism and equality and all of that. But when you really dig into the people that have pioneered this stuff, their ideas are a lot more diabolical, I'll say. Okay. But so let's play a little bit of this. I'm going to try to get through these fast because we've been talking a while. There's a few clips here.
Friedrich Hayek once said, I have come to feel strongly that the greatest service I can still render to my fellow men would be that I could make the speakers and writers among them thoroughly ashamed ever again to employ the term social justice. And I could not agree more with that sentiment. And I think it's a term that we don't get. One of my all-time favorite movie characters is Inigo Montoya. But Inigo Montoya has this famous line, you keep on using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
You keep on using that
and
word.
I think for many Christians...
Y'all know who Inigo Montoya is?
I didn't before.
Okay. Yeah. You know who that is? Okay, Rachel's up on that. Yeah. So he's equating that to... John, you know who that is? The Princess Bride?
before his time.
That's before your time. That's a good movie, man.
I mean, if it's The Princess Bride, I've seen it, but I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll play before his time, but Rachel knows what it is.
There's a lot of revelation in that movie, man.
Same
I've seen it a few times. There's a lot of meat in there. You know, people should watch that movie. If you haven't seen it, watch that movie. Okay.
That's true.
You ever seen that movie?
Yeah. Mr. Bride?
When it comes to the idea of social justice, we keep on using that word, but I don't think it means what we think it means. And most people who use it, they mean well. But we need to understand that the term social justice, the concept of social justice, is a concept that has a very specific and well-defined meaning.
And I want to just point out that there's a reason why they do focus groups. There's a reason why they do these long trainings and these long brainstorming sessions to come up with terms to coin these movements, because they need something that people will automatically want to get on board with, but without really looking, like just the words alone, like Black Lives Matter. Exactly. Like, who can go against that?
Yeah. Right.
You have to get on board with that. So social justice sounds like something we should all be in favor of. If you're not, what's wrong with you? You're crazy. So that's what, he's kind of touching on.
Oxford Dictionary of the English Language.
So now he's going to go into the actual definition of what these things are and go into like the academia.
But what they are now.
Right, what they've been defined as.
Right.
So this is from the Oxford Dictionary.
It's distributive justice. And specifically in politics and philosophy, it's justice at the level of a society or a state as regards possession of wealth, commodities, opportunities, and privileges. That's what social justice means. That's not what I say social justice means. That's what the Oxford Dictionary of the English Language says social justice means. I'm not building a straw man. William Young, academic social science.
For those that don't know what a straw man is, what he's talking about is in debate. Oftentimes, people will try to dismantle you ahead of time by conflating your ideas with a straw man. A straw man is the weakest version of your argument that doesn't necessarily equate to what you believe, but they try to attach you to that straw man because that straw man's easy to tear down. So he's trying to show that he's not creating a straw man for what social justice is defined as. He's reading the actual definition.
And social justice. He writes, while often an amorphous term, social justice has evolved to generally mean state redistribution of advantages and resources to disadvantaged groups to satisfy their rights and social and economic equality. Social justice is state redistribution. That's what social justice means.
I.e. communism, Marxism, you know what I mean? Like that's...
Because you're giving it all up to the state.
Right. And they determine who is qualified.
They set the parameters.
Right. They set the parameters.
They set the borders.
Who deserves this and who doesn't, which is what communism is. And a lot of what's going on in Florida now, like you talk to a lot of these people that came from Cuba, and the reason why Trump got a lot of votes in Florida is because they see what this progressive movement in the Democratic Party is leading to. Yeah. They've seen it happen before, and they're like, "No, you don't want this."
Record number of Hispanic votes.
Yep,
still lost.
Yeah, I was talking to y'all about that Fresh and Fit podcast that's in Miami, and they be having like young strippers and dancers on there that they interview, young, like mostly Latino women, and they be like shouting out Trump all the time.
Wow.
It's interesting. It's just interesting. Like people of that, you're talking about 19, 20, 21 years old. You know what I mean?
State redistribution. It is not a heart issue. From a biblical perspective, justice is a heart issue and a law of God issue. If the law of God says this and you do that, it is unjust. If the law of God says this and your heart goes toward that, it is unjust.
So
social justice by definition.
I think that's key.
Yeah.
Just in terms of what, like, for a lot of Christians that want to jump on the social justice bandwagon, you know, what is justice?
Yeah.
You know, and it's really, well, it's lined up with, do you know who God is?
Right.
You know,
how do we determine who defines what justice is?
Mhm.
How do we even set a marker for justice if anyone can define it?
Right.
You know what I mean? My version of justice might be different than yours.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
Paul said, Pastor Vadi Bachman is on point. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Justice and, well, righteousness and justice are the foundation of his throne. That's like something that's key, you know, because even in terms of that, like that's the foundation of his throne,
Mhm.
righteousness and justice. So he's even seated on those things,
Wow.
you know.
If y'all get any comments in there, just read them because I can't see them.
Definition is not a heart issue, it's a state issue. Social justice is not about individuals, it's about groups. It's another very important distinction. It's not about individuals, it's about groups and outcomes for groups. And again, this is academia. What you will find, by the way, is that in many of these academic disciplines, there's not much academia at all. In fact, I'll give you a prime example of this. The seminal paper on white privilege is Peggy McIntosh's paper, 1989, that she published. White Privilege Unpacking the Invisible Knapsack, right? And the idea was put forth long before McIntosh, but that's the article that really everybody goes to and refers to when they're talking about the concept of white privilege. There's not a single footnote in her paper.
That's what we were talking about
Opinion.
earlier.
Yeah.
There's not one source in her paper. It is purely observational.
So again,
It's
like,
purely emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Yeah.
well, when he's saying it's purely observational, it's
Yeah.
it's purely experience
Yeah.
and how you interpret that
It's my
experience.
truth.
Yeah.
Right.
It's my truth.
exactly.
Yeah.
Going back to what we said about the dude, the
Right.
gay dude, like
But see
the
how
pastor.
But that's why we always check that my truth stuff, because you see how dangerous that can be when you have a whole new movement and ideology being built off of someone's truth.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right, and that's how they get, because it's where's your grounding at? Where's your foundation? It stops with you.
Mhm.
You know, that's what it's all about. It's just, well, I feel this way, therefore, that's what it is. But somebody else can have the same experience, right, but not have the same outcome of perspective.
Right.
And that's what's key, because the perspective is how you view things.
Mhm.
Your perspective is how you see it.
Right.
You know, and that equates to where are we laying our foundation?
Right.
You know, what are we trusting in?
That's all.
It's crazy.
That's all. And it's the foundation for the academic understanding today
Right, foundation
of the concept of white privilege.
off of experience and feeling.
Social justice includes a vision of society in which the distribution of resources is equitable. Now, there's a difference between equality and equity. We'll talk about that. And all members of a space, community, or institution or society are physically and psychologically safe and secure. Again, these are academic sources. Okay? I'm not defining social justice. I'm allowing these sources themselves to define social justice. When you understand.
I just want to talk real quick about what he said there. The idea that the entire academic foundation for that was based off of that then creates more academia on top of that, which creates a whole economy around that.
So you're building a straw man.
Yeah, right.
But you're building something. You're building an institution.
Yeah.
That has a very faulty foundation.
It's not a sure foundation.
Yeah. So eventually it comes down. But how does it come down? It's got to come down with people who aren't afraid to come after, not after it, but to stand.
Yeah, it's just to stand and not be afraid to speak honestly about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that they're talking about critical theory and critical race theory and intersectionality. And when you understand the roots of these concepts, then you discover something very interesting as it relates to biblical justice and how social justice is inherently incompatible with biblical justice. For example, the idea of critical social justice, the idea of critical theory, critical race theory, intersectionality, these terms are part of a very long line of ideas and ideology. We go back, for example, to Karl Marx and Marx's concept of conflict theory. And
real quick, everyone knows that the founders of BLM
They're Marxists?
are trained Marxists by their own admission, you know. Just Karl Marx is someone that a lot of these progressives look up to. They feel like his ideas were very valid, which his ideas is what led to communism. For those who don't know who Karl Marx is, just go look him up. He's one of the fathers of communism.
conflict theory from Marx basically was his way of explaining sociology and the relationships between people. And Marx really saw at bottom the root of relationships between people as a conflict over limited resources.
Look at that.
So the whole idea
That's
of the
crazy.
bourgeois.
Yeah.
That's crazy because it's always you're looking at what somebody else has.
Yep. And you're saying there's not enough for all of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
What can I get?
Right, I gotta take. You need to share with everyone.
And then you're trying to place blame.
Right.
Like who can I point the finger at?
Right.
That's literally like to be honest with you, that's true. In the way the world works, in the way nations work, when I say nations, I mean the world. But in turn, we come out of that when we come to God. That's what's crazy because He shows us in a different way. Actually, give.
Right.
It's
about giving, and if you can cultivate a culture of that instead of a culture of taking,
right?
Yeah.
Then you have something where, because think about it, the problem with Marxism and communism, it's the implementation of it. How do you take from people in a way that doesn't now you're oppressing them?
Right.
How do you take? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it works until you can't take anything else anymore.
Right.
You run out of
the
stuff. Taking.
And then what?
Then what?
No one is creating anymore. No one's productive anymore because they're tired of being taken from. And then people look what happened in Venezuela.
All of them.
Yeah. But I mean, Venezuela's most recent, so you
Right.
can point to that. Like, people just money had no value anymore.
Yeah, it destroys a creative atmosphere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, it does.
You're not.
There's no motivation to be creative.
There's no motivation. There's no
Because
passion.
they're just going to take it anyway.
Yeah. How can you have passion where you don't have to do anything?
Yeah.
Well, and everything you do, it's just like you want to get a job. See, and when you're at a job, look at how you don't care about that job.
Right.
But when you're creative, with how we are creatives, right? It's different for us because now we gotta create something. That's what it's about. But at a job, you go to the job, you get paid for what you work. You don't care about that job.
Yeah.
You just care about getting paid at the end of the day. So you stop. What happens? A lot of times people, they get into a routine. Come home, eat.
You learn how to do the bare minimum to get your pay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
You fall into, but you're not really thinking in that way
Right.
unless you shift things up, make something new. Now you're excited for a little
Yeah,
bit,
right.
but then you fall back into it because I don't even think we're made to like live in that way, you know, 9 to 5, but that's a whole nother story.
And that's the other thing is like he touched on the idea of equality versus equity, and Marxism, communism is about equity, where it's like everyone ends up equal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a lot harder. That's impossible. Let's just be real. That's impossible. Like the idea of equality is the idea that we all get the same chance to do something. We all get, like, even for us, like if someone said, yo, whoever can, I don't know, chop this wood the fastest, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Right.
We all get a chance to do it. You know, there isn't like, if you cut someone off from the opportunity, that's inequality. If you say like, yo, you black people ain't allowed to, you know, get jobs, that's inequality, you know. But to say that we need to have equity for everyone is like, all right, everyone needs to make the same annual pay at the end of the year when we look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's a story in the Bible, Jesus, a parable where he's talking about the workers that work in the field, right?
Yeah.
And there's the workers that work early in the day, right? And then there's some that come late, and they all get paid the same. And now they're mad. The ones who work longer are mad.
yeah.
And he says, well, it's my field. It's my,
Yeah.
basically, can I do what I want with what I have?
Right.
Right? See, that's equality.
Mm-hmm.
But though they're looking at equity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or they're looking at it like, well, how are you going to give them the same when we did more work?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not even how God works.
Right.
You know what I mean? God works in a way where he gives however he wants.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
because it's his to give.
right.
So he can give however he wants. And if we're always looking at what other people are getting and saying, well, why aren't we getting that?
Right.
Then we miss it.
Yep.
Real quick, Paul said, equitable distribution like BLM's co-founder buying $1 million mansions in the lily white suburbs.
Mansions.
She found out that all of that was funded by big tech, who was suppressing the stories about it happening at the same time.
Of course.
Equity of opportunity can be guaranteed. Equity of outcome can't. Exactly. That's 100% facts. And that's what everybody is making the distinction about, because Marxism, communism is about equity of outcome.
Yeah. Xanthia said, sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
The Bible even says, you don't work, you don't eat.
Yep.
With the thinking emoji.
But that's why Jordan Peterson, talking about him earlier, he got in trouble because he was talking about that, and he still talks about that, how like the ideas of equity of outcome are so dangerous and only lead to the death of millions of people, like every time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So even entertaining that, which for some reason we're doing in America, I still can't, like, I get it because we've been seduced into it, but
I mean, everybody gets a trophy.
yeah, everybody gets a trophy.
You know?
Yep.
Like, that's the start of it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What happened in Cambodia?
Yeah, same thing.
They try to get, it was like moving into, I remember, I don't remember, but reading about it, the capital, which is Phnom Penh, was like, they were exporting sand. I think that was like one of the economic things that, was making the city and the country rich.
Damn, how do you export sand?
I have no idea. I remember reading this.
Because they probably use sand to make concrete, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Pol Pot came in, wanted nothing to do with that Western whatever.
Right.
Put everybody in concentration camps because they all believed him.
Yeah.
Whatever they were selling him, and then everybody was the same. You get the same amount of food,
Yeah.
but you have to work all day.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you were considered an educated person or anything, like you had to die.
You were killed.
Yeah. You were tricked.
I took Asian history in college.
Yeah.
I learned all about that.
Yeah.
You learned about that?
You learned about Pol Pot? Most
Yeah.
people don't.
I
We
learned
talk about Pol Pot most-
Asian history. Like I learned about China.
That's why you have so many Asian friends.
This is before. I mean, this is after.
Is this why you talk to me all the time?
But that's what caused a lot of issues, is that they killed off all the educated people.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, then it caused more issues.
And his was even more like weird and esoteric because he believed that the workers of the field were the true Cambodians, right? Like he had this ideology where it's like the farmers were the true Khmer people.
Yeah, he believed in what was it? Agricultural. I forgot exactly what the term is.
Yeah.
Whatever term that they made up.
So, but Westerners brought in the education, the doctors, the teachers.
But dude is a hypocrite though. He went to France to study.
Yeah,
in
of
France,
course.
in the university.
Show me a politician
He's
who's
gotta
not
be
educated.
Where do you think he got his ideas from?
Right?
Yeah,
Yo, when
the
he went
name.
isn't Karl Marx French?
Is he French?
No,
he's German.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay.
German.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name Khmer Rouge.
But the French Revolution
Rogue is red.
Yeah.
In
right. Rouge is red in French. Yeah.
French.
Yeah.
But killed millions of people.
Right.
That's what's
same
going on.
concept.
Yeah, South Africa right now is, if you, what is it, the BEE's taking over. So any business that comes in, you got to give up 51% ownership of your company.
Damn.
It's got to be, a black person has to be in the ownership tier of your company.
Right.
Or you can't come in.
Wow.
At all.
And we all know what's going on in
China.
Same thing, right? Same thing. Same thing. Like they if you are a company, they have to have access to your entire organization. Like look at Huawei, look at TikTok, you know what I mean? Like you basically are an arm of the government. Mm-hmm. It's better if I play the sound and say it because then YouTube can't flag us. All right, let's get back into the video.
Yeah.
The proletariat, the whole idea of the haves and the have-nots, this whole idea of Marxism versus capitalism, right? It's rooted and grounded in conflict theory. Later on, the Frankfurt School develops this idea, and we get to critical theory, which, again, the critical part of critical social justice. This comes to us by way of a guy by the name of Antonio Gramsci. Gramsci was an Italian Marxist, and Gramsci's part of he's part of this bridge. Gramsci looks at, for example, I mean, Marxism was supposed to spread by way of revolution. Right? The revolution was supposed to come. And we see the Bolshevik revolution, but we don't see revolutions after that. We don't see the proletariat uprising
Everybody
all
else
around
was
the
like,
world,
nah, we
overthrowing
good.
capitalism. What's wrong? And so Gramsci, this Italian Marxist who, is in prison, and in his prison notebooks, he's thinking through this whole idea. Obviously, there's something that is keeping people from seeing how evil capitalism is, and they're not overthrowing capitalism. And Gramsci comes up with this idea of hegemony. Hegemony is this concept of there's a ruling group in a culture and in society, and they establish the rules of the game. And they establish the rules of the game in order to benefit themselves and those like them, and to oppress all other groups of individuals. This power structure, this power struggle, oppressors and oppressed, based upon what groups you belong to. Now, what is all of this?
So real quick, so you see that playing out in every aspect of what we do now. They're always identifying who's the oppressor, who's the oppressed. Mm-hmm. This comes from that philosophy. That's what he's showing. He's showing where this comes from and how it's infiltrated even Christians. Mm-hmm. So let's keep going.
That have to do with this idea of social justice? Well, when you get into the literature, here's what you discover. That the hegemony today, if you look, for example, at America, Generally, we think about the oppressor-oppressed paradigm, this very Marxist paradigm, this paradigm that says you divide all the world and all reality into oppressors and the oppressed. And for most people, if you say, okay, well, in America, if you're thinking in those terms, oppressor and oppressed, who would the oppressor be? Right? Somebody say rich people, somebody say white people, okay? That's part of it. But according to critical social justice, the hegemony in America, the oppressor class in America is white, male, heterosexual, cisgendered, able-bodied, native-born, Christian. So most people have heard of white privilege and male privilege, but they haven't heard of Christian privilege.
No, but that because that's where he dropped the bomb right there. It's like a lot of people don't understand that one of the oppressive groups is Christians, especially for Christians that are.
But if you're white, Christian,
that's the
male,
that's the
able-bodied.
That's the intersectional.
Sounds like Jordan Damiani.
You know, like the
that's the intersectional oppressor,
right? So they have the intersectional Olympics where it's like who is the most oppressed,
right?
That's the opposite.
Yeah, who is the most oppressing,
right?
Yeah,
white male cisgendered Christian,
right?
You know,
man,
able-bodied.
Jordan's M. Bison.
Right, and it's so funny because Jordan's married to a black woman, like takes care of two black kids that aren't his. You know what I mean? Like stepfather for them. And he's like Jordan. It's so funny because Jordan is like, if you didn't know him, he's like the stereotypical idea of the progressive male. You know what I mean? He's got a man bun. He had a coffee shop. His wife had a co-op. Business and like he plays guitar, you know what I mean? He checks every single box. So it's like someone who didn't know him would say, dude, you are the oppressor.
Well, that's his story though. Like people would come into the coffee shop, they just start talking about, political stuff, and they automatically assume, he's one of the guys.
Yeah, you're one of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his name? The guy we're listening to?
His name is
Vadi Bacham.
He's a pastor.
And
he's got a lot of good stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. Xanthia's
okay. He breaks. Out. Yeah, check him out on YouTube. He breaks down a lot of stuff. He does stuff about LGBTQ and about how because a lot of people say that Jesus never spoke about that, so why do we care about it? And he actually does a breakdown about it, which is very interesting.
They think, Christian privilege, that's something that you're making up. No, absolutely not. In the literature and readings for diversity and social justice, for example, Christian privilege is identified as a major source of oppression.
They're coming for y'all next.
Mm-hmm.
In Western culture in general, and in American culture in particular.
They're going down the list.
Christian privilege is as evil as white privilege. Christianity is the oppressor. So, if Christianity is the oppressor, and social justice is about alleviating the oppression, then social justice has to be opposed to what? Christianity. Education.
And that's facts. It is. You know that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, is it safe to say that social justice is religion?
He goes into that. He goes into that about how it's its own religion.
Yeah. I mean, everything. It's about salvation through social justice.
Yeah.
In a way, because if you're oppressed, you need saving.
It's
right?
about reconciling the entire human race through social justice,
and that in turn is through intellectual means,
which is not in alignment with Christianity or the Bible.
Nothing
in
to
any
do
way.
with love or the heart, true love.
Right.
For social justice. Here's their list.
Oh, this is deep. He goes through the list of
Education for social justice. Here's their list.
Different universities.
Consumerism, death penalty, education, genocide, homelessness, human trafficking, immigration, intergenerational justice, land grabbing, mental health, natural disasters, racial justice, restorative justice, sexual abuse crisis in the church, terrorism, U.S. elections, water, climate change, hunger, migration, signs of the times, economic justice, inequality, torture, gender equality, interfaith, U.S. poverty, war, healthcare, sustainable development, refugees, human rights, liberation theology, global poverty, integral ecology, and racism. And it goes on and on and on. In other words, everything is a social justice issue. Why? Because social justice is about redistribution until you see equity, which means anywhere that there's not equity, not equality, but equity. Anywhere where there's not equity, there is injustice. So you go to any area and any, COVID-19, for example. COVID-19, we look at COVID-19 deaths and we see black people, minorities disproportionately dying from COVID-19. Social justice. There it is. Inequity. Inequity. We see it. It's there. It's what we know that is racial injustice. How do we know? We know because the numbers aren't equal. And anytime the numbers
so
aren't
crazy,
equal,
man.
the answer is injustice.
But you know what's funny is like it's only in the ways that they deem matter. Because there's inequity in a lot of ways where it goes against what they believe, but they ignore those. You know what I mean? Like someone will point out like the NBA is 85% African American. You know what I mean? But no, who cares about that? The owners are 95% white, so they're the oppressors. You know what I mean? Like it's nonsense. It's nonsense. You know, but just keep watching.
Because in a just world, every disease would kill people in perfect accordance with their demographic representation. Never mind that nothing else in nature works like that. There's nowhere in the natural universe where you see an exact representation, percentage-wise, of anything. Period. Full stop. It doesn't exist. For example, firstborns have an advantage over secondborns and thirdborns and so on and so. It's not equitable. It's not equitable.
But what would they do to make that equitable? I was talking to Jake about this yesterday. You could see a policy like in a place where communism exists. Let me hit it.
China.
Right? One child policy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there is no way you can have any inequity amongst your children if you have one. You know what I mean?
But then that's why they were killing.
What does that lead to? What does that lead to?
Leads to rebellion and.
But not only that, dead babies everywhere.
Yeah.
Because you have a daughter, you want a son.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what was happening. And now, if you look
or
at
they were just giving their kids up,
or just leaving them places.
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of young men in China that can't find wives.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge epidemic of that because everyone was having boys.
Right.
You know? So
yeah, it's crazy.
I remember that when we were kids, like hearing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
does
that
that
we're talking
mean
about
that there is inherent injustice in birth order? I don't have to make it up. Do you know the name Ibram X. Kendi? If you know the literature at all on this, then you know the name Ibram X. Kendi. If you don't know his name, you probably know the title of his book, How to Be an Anti-Racist.
Everyone is quoting this now. Ibram X. Kendi, How to Be an Anti-Racist. Like, all of the social justice people are 100% on board with this. It's like, you said it earlier. It's not good enough to be
racist.
No,
I mean,
not be racist.
should
You
not
have to
be
be
racist. Yeah.
But you be racist by being anti-racist.
Right. You are inherently. You know, you
Anti-racist.
But he's going to break down who coined that in his book and what this guy is.
There are Christian organizations and Christian ministries now who are using Ibram X. Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. It is pure critical race theory. It is critical theory, critical race theory, intersectionality on steroids. It is antithetical to biblical thinking, biblical theology, biblical ideology, and it is being used in churches all over this country and ministries all over this country in diversity training. Ibram X. Kendi proposed an amendment to the Constitution, an anti-racist amendment to the Constitution. Listen, this is, again, remember, this is the guy, by the way, he makes between $20,000 and $40,000 an hour for his presentations. That $20,000 to $40,000 an hour.
No incentive. No incentive there to push this idea.
Did he go to Coca-Cola?
All over themselves to book
I don't
this
see
man
equity there.
to
Right.
come and speak to them on diversity training.
Need to give that to some of them black
Here's-
dudes.
Right. It's funny how these Marxists are a fan of capitalism when
Fix
it
the
benefits
original
them.
sin of
Yeah.
racism. Can we just pause right there? Many have said, and I have said, I call it the cult of anti-racism. It is a religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a religion. They have their own doctrine. They have their own saints. They have their own canon.
Hold up, like I just remembered this. The leader, one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter, was talking about pretty much conjuring.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, the person that died.
That was the same one that bought the houses.
Breonna Taylor, right?
Yeah.
Conjuring her, say her name. That's why they say her name.
Say their name.
That's like a religious.
That's why they hashtag that, because it's about conjuring up the spirits of the dead. And she did the video. You remember us playing that video where she had the wings on?
Yes.
And they did that ritual. That ritual that they did. Yeah, like, it's anyone who's done any research into these people know that they're about like African spiritualism. Or what's it called? The stuff that Beyonce was putting in her
Yoruba.
Yoruba, yeah. And
Yoruba.
yeah, like this is Jumanji.
Was that a right?
Sounds kind of racist.
One
Dan.
of those things.
The good movie, by the way, the first one.
Come on, man.
Paul said these Marxists be getting paid. You know what I'm saying? all of a sudden, it's like Bernie Sanders, right? He's a full-on communist until he becomes a millionaire. Then he's like, wait a minute.
Hold up here. Let's get some things in order.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Xanthia said, "How about do what the Bible says and say and love everyone, even your enemy."
Yep.
Yeah, but how do we do that?
Right.
That's what we're learning. Like, because just to love everybody, a lot of people have been what we talked about earlier. People have been taking that in the wrong way.
Right. That's how you get swept up in something like this.
Yeah.
So how do we love?
Right.
You know, and that's what we have to learn is.
Yeah. What you were talking about, that love is not always, embracing.
Yeah.
There's that stern love. Like,
Yeah.
You coming up in here, this is the rules.
There's a line. I'm gonna honor you,
Right.
but you gotta honor me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we create those boundaries, but and we do it because we honor people first.
Yeah.
We honor them first.
Yep.
Because how are they gonna even come to our place and honor us if we don't honor them first?
Right.
But we can't let them come into our house. Come into our even like our hearts. okay, whatever you want to do, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna love you anyway.
Right.
You want to beat me up? Go ahead. You want to tie me up? You want to steal everything I got? Go ahead.
That's what we do to spoil kids.
Yeah.
Right. And not to say that we can't allow somebody that every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But just because Jesus said, you know, turn the other cheek, doesn't mean that he's saying just give everything up.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference there,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
So because I think sometimes we get those two things like mixed up, where it's like, let me just give it all up, and I gotta tolerate everything.
Yeah.
And just
Never stand my ground on
Yeah.
anything. Yeah. All right, continue.
They have their own priests, theologians, and Kendi's one of the theologians of this movement. But notice it, this is an amendment to the Constitution, and it starts with to fix the original sin of racism. To fix the original sin of racism, Americans should pass an anti-racist amendment to the U.S. Constitution that enshrines two anti-racist principles. One, racial inequity is evidence of racist policy. And two, the different racial groups are equals. The amendment would make unconstitutional racial inequity over a certain threshold. Be unconstitutional if you have racial inequity. And again, equity is about outcomes, right? If you have outcomes.
So it's like, who determines that threshold? And where do we set that threshold? He even talked about the Harvard thing and Yale, how they're being sued now by the Asian community because they started raising standards for Asians because too many of them were getting in. Mm-hmm. So it's racial inequity.
Classes.
Right. But it's also, they're considered a minority, like this whole movement, Stop Asian Hate, you know what I mean? And we talked about it before when Asians were like being classified as white adjacent is the term they were using. White adjacent, you know what I mean? None of this makes any sense.
Yeah.
You don't know where you belong, bro.
I don't know.
You're white. You're black. You need to be aligned with Black Lives Matter. Then you're white. Then you can't get into Harvard because you're Asian. You know,
ridiculous.
That are
I wouldn't get into Harvard anyway.
Maybe if you applied yourself. If you weren't chasing all those women.
Tail.
For a specific threshold, it would make it unconstitutional. As well as racist ideas by public officials, with racist ideas and public officials clearly defined. It would establish and permanently fund the Department of Anti-Racism, comprised of formally trained experts on racism and no political appointees. Who wants to take a guess at who's going to formally train the experts?
I mean, I'm going to propose this bill. By the way, it's going to make me rich.
I'll train everybody.
It's going to give me a job for the rest of my life. Kind of like what Fauci does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to propose these things that's going to keep me rich. You know what I mean? But
It's not going to be equitable.
Right.
Yeah, we lose equity there.
But what he's proposing is, and the thing is, like, it's so easy to make people get on board with this because it's all in the name of not being racist. No one wants to be racist. Racism is horrible. Everyone's against that.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? Everyone hates racism. Yes. Unless you're, a KKK member or, you know what I mean? But they use that as a Trojan horse.
Yes.
They use that as a Trojan horse. We'll keep playing.
The DOA would be responsible for pre-clearing all local, state, and federal public policies to ensure they won't yield inequity. Monitor those policies, investigate private racist policies when racial inequity surfaces, and monitor public officials for expressions of racist ideas. The
a lot of
DOA would
monitoring.
be empowered with disciplinary tools to wield over and against policymakers and public officials who do not voluntarily change their racist policy and ideas.
Dude, that's crazy.
Listen to this.
It's kind of 1984-ish, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where we have to just monitor you 24/7 to make sure you ain't doing nothing. that we deem
that we say
injustice.
You need to do.
Yeah.
And we're defining the terms.
Right.
Do you see how much corruption can just come in because, like where's the definition? Where's the ground? Where's the ground? There is no ground.
They say it has to meet a threshold. In his own proposal, it has to meet a threshold.
Right, but
who
can
determines
change
that threshold?
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
This is crazy.
I mean, we already know.
And we got people considering these things.
Yeah. They're trying to get it passed.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, this is the last video, and then we'll wrap
From
it up.
Milton Friedman. A society that puts equality in the sense of equality of outcomes ahead of freedom will end up with neither equality nor freedom. The use of force to achieve equality will destroy freedom, and the force, introduced for good purposes, will end up in the hands of people who use it to promote their own interests.
Isn't that what we see every single time? Every single time. You have to use force.
That's what I was just going to get to.
Yeah.
The next thing.
You have to use force to implement these ideas. So that inherently takes away freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people that use that force, they are so corrupted that they end up just pushing their own agenda anyway.
And
benefiting themselves.
That's why, just like you can't make people do what you want, like on the other end.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, they're all going to hell. Like,
yeah.
So that's my frustration.
Right.
So I'm just gonna lash out. You got to love people.
Yeah.
In an orderly way.
That's why we talked about Christians that are out here trying to cancel Lil Nas X.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah. Just in another way.
In another way.
Yeah, you're trying to put pressure on people.
Yeah.
And it never works. No. And again, honor. Because if I honor you from where you're at and you honor me, now we got boundaries, right? And don't step over this boundary.
Right.
And I won't step over that boundary. And I'm gonna love you. And people who trust in God are going to continue to be expanded in how they're able to deal with the boundaries that they have. Like, no, this is as far as I go, right? But then he's like, okay, stretch that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right? Stretch that a little bit more. He stretches us, but we got to have the capacity to be stretched. And that's through a genuine trust and obedience in him. And that's the key, like learning obedience. But when we think we got to figure it out, we're so narrow in how we're blessed or how we expand in our territory or where our walls are. And that's the issue. Like God, I think God is saying, yo, grow up. Get some more territory. But where do you get it from me? So I want to give you more, but you're not coming from me. You're trying to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
And now you're dealing with all these confrontations with people. Right? And a lot of times what that does is, all right, we're just going to have our own thing. And that's what's happening in the church.
Right.
We're going to that's the world.
Right.
Evil world.
Yeah.
And church, everything good here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which isn't true.
Yeah.
It's not true at all.
No. All right, continuing.
This is not how we in the body of Christ function. We are not about gaining political power in order to force people to do justice.
Now, that was the past, right? Think about that. Gain political power to force people. That's what, when he said that, it made me think of what created a lot of this idea of people's like the backlash against Christianity, because in the past that's how the church functioned. They had so much political power that they could force anyone to do anything. You would die. They will kill you. You know what I mean? If you weren't a Christian.
Catholicism.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing the pendulum going the complete other way. So he's saying that's not how Christians operate now. But it was like that at a point, which what led to this, you know. But I just wanted to point that out.
We are about the proclamation of the gospel, recognizing that true justice must and can only come from hearts transformed through the person and work of Jesus Christ.
Which is what we've learned. You know, we've learned that.
Our greatest political desire is freedom to proclaim the gospel in the marketplace of ideas. Amen? But guess what? Critical social justice will ultimately not tolerate proclaiming the gospel in the marketplace of ideas, because it is a source and a means of oppression.
And that's the end right there. So to sum it all up, the idea of buying into this idea of social justice will inevitably not allow Christians to even talk about Jesus in public.
It's gonna make it's all what is it? It's a way to bring in confusion.
Yeah.
It's a way for the enemy to come in and cause complication.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was telling Jamie this. I was seeing like a ball of yarn that's all messed up and tangled up, and you can't untangle it, and you're trying to figure out. And that's what happens so many times. But like the whole point, what does God do? It's funny because this is in like Isaiah 42, Isaiah 40, Isaiah 45. He makes the crooked way straight, right? The crooked way is the way. It's so crooked you can't see where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't see where you're going.
Right.
But he makes things simple for us. Makes it straight.
Mm-hmm.
He simplifies it, right?
And think about it. How much? What is the quickest way from one point to the next?
Straight
A
line.
straight line.
Right.
When you're on that crooked path, you're making your journey so
Longer.
much longer.
Yeah. And that's the point of the enemy, and he wants to make it longer, to delay, right? Because eventually we're getting to our destination. And what do I mean by destination? I mean, I believe that we are supposed to be ruling and reigning in this world.
Yeah.
Now what that looks like might not be what people think, but you know, when you think about Psalms 2, why are the kings trying to plot against the anointed? You know, why are they trying to keep the anointed and God from connecting? Right? That's what it says. To tear their cords, to burst their cords or cut their cords. It's because when that happens, things start coming into line. That's the whole point. John the Baptist was to prepare the way so that it could be straight. And when Jesus comes, it all flows together. It all makes sense. And if we're confused and we don't see it. That's the whole point. Not seeing, right? Not being able to see, not being able to focus on the right thing. If we're focused on all these little menial things, all these little
semantics.
Thank you. That's the word I wanted. We're focused on these semantical things. I don't know. Is that a word? Semantical?
Probably.
Sounds like a word. Semantical.
If we're focused on these things, we never get to our destination.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. We get distracted. We get brought into. It's the same thing with a conversation. Like you ever notice, like if you're in like a debate with someone or a conversation where you're trying to get to an end result,
right?
But someone wants to get you trapped in semantics,
right?
Because they know that if they keep you there, nothing gets accomplished,
right?
You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
Because truth ultimately,
wins,
right? but it's truth and love, right? And so it's funny because at the end of Psalms 2, we were talking about this earlier. What's it say? The key is at the end.
Yeah.
Blessed are all those who trust in the Lord, or blessed are all those who take refuge in the Lord. So really our answer is always going to be in him. You know, that's how he straightens it out. He's the one who can untangle everything. But so many of us are getting caught up in getting attacked and then trying to like defend ourselves.
Yeah.
But it don't work that way. We can't go, how can I love them past that? Because the reason why people are attacking is because they want to stand their ground in a territory that they got no business standing in the way they are.
Right.
Because it's ours. You get what I'm saying? It's ours because it's given to us, but it's only given to us if we trust in the one who has it. Everything that the earth is the Lord's, right? And the fullness thereof, right? So it's all his, but he wants to give it to his kids. But there's people standing in the way. But it's not the people, it's actually the ones behind the people, right? So we're looking at the people, but they really are just in the way because that's all they know.
Right.
But when we can reach out to them in relationship, now things shift. They're not an enemy anymore, you know? And I think this has to happen with Christians, like where we're not looking at people as they're the enemies.
The enemy, yeah. Or the lost ones.
Right.
Or like the opposition.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're just an opportunity.
Right. Let me hit a couple comments. We had a lot of comments during that whole thing. Tia said, that's why I always say the truth hurts. Naomi said, exactly, you guys are right. Xanthia said, absolutely. Bible even says you don't work, you don't eat. Oh, that's from earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, let me move down. How about what the Bible says? I love everyone, even your enemy.
I read that one earlier. So.
Okay. My bad.
I think the newest one is Mom.
Mom said,
I pledge allegiance
she did the
to
Pledge
flag.
Allegiance. The whole Pledge Allegiance. Yeah.
Under God.
Mark Owen says, thank you guys for talking about this from a Christian perspective. I first got a little taste of this when I was in seminary, but just kept my mouth shut because I couldn't make sense of the language. The what?
CR theory.
Oh, critical race theorists use. I learned more about the toxicity of critical race theory listening to the people like James Lindsay, Eric Weinstein, Jordan Peterson, etc. after people tried to cancel them. Keep up the good fight, and thanks for letting those of us who didn't know now know about Vadi Bachman. Yeah, appreciate you, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
I mean, we all went through those phases as well. Like we listened to Jordan Peterson and all that stuff because it's like there was a long period there where we didn't have. Why you bringing up mine?
Oh,
what is it?
It must have.
He's bringing up.
No, I didn't touch it. I literally, I touched the computer.
It's all good.
And it must have. I don't know.
It's all good.
Yeah, but there wasn't. It's for a long time. It was like it's hard when you're a man and you don't see any men being honest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like we had to latch on to a lot of those people too. Emma said the greatest gift God gave man was free will, but we need knowledge and understanding. Absolutely. And Mark and everybody else who's commenting and who appreciates what we're doing here, listen, you guys got to go to Patreon and become members. You got to support things like this that are trying to spread a different type of message than a lot of the stuff that people are supporting out there. And if you want to do that, it's patreon.com/youngliontv. You can do quick donations on Cash App, which is $youngliontv. The different tiers are there. You can see it right there. That's the Cash App right there, $youngliontv. You can hit us with a donation. And I swear to you, everything that you guys send us is going to bettering what we're doing. None of that, like we ain't taking none of this money. So support what we're doing here. Go to the Patreon, the Cash App. Naomi said, I'm glad that I'm learning all about this. Amen. Thank you. Yeah, you guys support it, man. I mean, this is stuff that we talk about all the time. So it's important for us to get this out there for people that may not do the research, because we know everybody doesn't do the research that we do.
Right.
You know what I mean? We spend a lot of time just looking at things, researching, finding out more and more about how we were seduced. You know what I mean? Like we said earlier.
What's behind the curtain?
Yeah.
How we were Jezebeled.
Yeah. How we were wizard. Wizard spelled.
People, when he said behind the curtain, just reminded me of Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Exactly. Because that's what happened to us. We as especially growing up in an era where, and this is the thing, like, it's hard to play catch up all the time because new technology is always introduced, and the ruler of this world is always ahead of the game with using that to control people. You know what I mean? And he has the people in place that develop the technology to keep that ball rolling. So it's hard for us to always be trying to play catch up with, like, all right, well, what are we falling for now? What are we falling for? Like, how are we missing it? You know what I mean?
And I think we're slowly coming out of that.
Yeah.
Even in that, like, well, what are we missing? What are we falling for? I think we don't even have to really think about that. It's more about, all right, I have confusion here. Let me trust in God. Let me go to God. Let me, blessed are those who trust in the Lord. Blessed are those who have not seen yet believe. But and when you look at that in the Greek, when it says blessed, it literally means to be like to become larger.
Yeah.
To become enlarged. So it's you could even look at it like enlarged in territory. Are those who believe.
Right.
And
your sphere of influence.
Your sphere of or even how you see what you couldn't see before.
Dude, I was watching that episode of Black Mirror yesterday. You know which one I'm talking about, with the social credit score thing?
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that he literally sits. Remember when she meets with the analyst who tries to help her get her score up? Because she wants to go from a 4.2 to a 4.5. He's like, yeah, your sphere of influence here is a little lacking in your numbers. What you need to do is get that higher by bringing people in of a higher, rating into your sphere of influence. And it just like hit me like, yo, this is crazy. like even in that sense, that like the devil uses that too. You know what I mean? When you look at Instagram, Twitter, like all of these things, it becomes a sphere of influence where you can influence people to follow your lead on things, even if it's leading them down the wrong path.
Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy. Xanthia says, yes, thank you guys so much. I know you put your heart into this. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Phone died.
Thank you guys for watching, man. I think we're good here. We're done. We went through that whole teaching. I think
almost 11.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Appreciate all you guys. Seriously, man.
Appreciate you.
Love you guys. Thanks for helping out. Thanks to Rachel and John over there doing the most. I see you over there pulling up stuff.
I'm thankful.
John, I see you over there. But yeah, and everybody watching, we appreciate you guys. Again, please support this. Go to the Patreon. Go to Cash App. Also, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Everybody who's on Facebook, take a second. Go over to our YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're really trying to move people over to the YouTube content. We don't know how long we're going to last on Facebook. And what you have?
They know likey.
Yeah. And YouTube is actually a better platform for us to grow this thing. So if we can get more people to subscribe over there, and there's the website, jatan.com. You see the nice artwork Moon did for Darlin right there with that beautiful flower. And there's the merch right there if you want to get T-shirts, you want to get music, jatan.com. And yeah, we love you guys. Peace and blessings to the young lions.
Yes. God bless.
And we out. We'll see you
Young
guys.
lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in.